Welcome everyone to another episode of the World's Greatest News and Reviews Report. Captain Mal here, and today I'm joined by
Weapon 2.
And today we're going to be talking to you about the Netflix original series Love, Death, Robots. So, Weapon 2, explain to the kids, what is Love, Death, and Robots about?
Well, Love, Death, Robots is a series of a whole bunch of short stories, kind of short, I don't know what you call them. How long were they? About 25 minutes each? Or
No. So they're anywhere from like 6 to 18 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, it's an adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, no, you're right. They were shorter. And so, it's just short stories. It was just like little, what do you call them? Like little moviettes or something. And they varied. They were very drastically different from each other. So they didn't share the same types of stories or key points, complete separate works, and it was really interesting. Some of them were funny, some of them were a little bit scary, some of them had like twists, and some of them were like you're on an acid trip. So
Yeah,
it's just crazy. So that's what I thought about.
Yeah, so it's an anthology series, so every episode is actually its own standalone story, a different episode that is not connected to the previous or following episode at all. It's all animated, but every single one is a different type of animation. Some of them are like CGI. Some of the CGI ones are beautiful, like really, really gorgeous, almost like watching a really good video game cutscene. Some of them are straight up traditional animation. Some are anime style, so they're all like really wildly different. So the point where like going from like one episode to the next, it was almost jarring, like starting the new episode because it's so different. But then like once you get into it, like you're fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of them are good. There's no like really bad ones, but there's some are just way better than others. But yeah, so despite what the title says, it's not all about love, death, and robots. Some of them have nothing to do with either of those things. Every episode is, like I said, wildly different. Some of them end really fucked up, like really, really bad. Like I realized at about episode 6, I was like, these aren't necessarily ending well for our protagonists. Like this isn't good, but it is really, really different, really unique, and it's like something like I ate it up in one day because they're so short. You saw it over the course of a couple, you said.
Yeah.
Really good. Like I can't praise that. Just out of nowhere too. Wasn't expecting this to be good.
And the thing I liked about them was they made you. I'm always. When I go see something, I gotta have like some type of feelings about it.
You need to
and
connect
these
with
all made you feel one way or another.
Yeah.
They made you, varying degrees. Some of them were, more of a draw than others. But all of them, whether they were funny or whether they were serious or scary or drama, it made you have some feelings and some interest. You're watching it going, holy cow, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Some really make you laugh. Some like were really tense. Some were really dramatic. Some were just non-stop action. Some were really character-driven.
Some were just uncomfortable.
Some were you were just like, whoa. But some of these, like about 5 of them, were so good.
Right.
I wanted them to be a show, like a series or a movie. Like I'm like, okay, what's next? Like what's gonna happen? Like no, I don't want just 10 minutes. Give me more. Like really good. So I think what we'll do is I had to write down. There's like 20 of them, so I had to write down a list of like all the episode titles. We're just going to skim it real quick and just mention our favorites, the ones that we thought really, really stood out. We won't spoil anything, but we'll just kind of go over what it was about and like why we thought it was so good.
Should we just go down through the list? Let's go down through the whole list.
And
then we'll just talk at length on the ones that we really want.
That's great. Yeah. Okay. Hey, so sorry, this 2-bit operation here. We have to keep going. Yeah, this is totally
top
This is
notch.
shit. Yeah. Okay. So episode 1, Sonny's Edge, was one of the best episodes.
Yes.
So that episode, it's a CGI episode. It's about a futuristic form of essentially cockfighting, but it's with monsters.
Right.
In a big futuristic arena, and where you put a thing on your brain, and you sync with the monster, so like you're controlling it to like telepathically.
Exactly.
Really, really good. Like I wish this one was a show.
It's like an Avatar concept.
Yeah, but dark.
Another creature that fights for you.
And brutal and violent and
bloody.
Not gonna give anything away, but it goes a certain direction. Literally, my train of thought was, oh damn, that's this kind of episode. And then I was like, oh damn, that's this kind of episode. Then I was just like, oh fuck, didn't see that coming. Like
exactly
one of the best twists in the whole thing.
So we're not doing any spoilers in this, right? Should we not spoil?
I feel like we should go spoiler free until like maybe the end. And
I think that's a good way to go because I want people to watch things. I want their opinion. And
I want to entice people to watch this. And then maybe we'll do a spoiler once. Okay, so here's the thing. See, Crawler hasn't seen them all yet. So maybe later, once he's seen it all, we'll do a spoiler video where we go in length about shit.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And I agree. That one, I wish would have been its own series, a television series.
Really good.
And it did have a crazy twist at the end.
Yeah.
You're right.
The next one, 3 Robots. It was more of a comical one.
Funny, very funny.
Really funny.
Kind of the smartest
the most intellectual
about it. Yeah.
So that one is about 3 robots going over a post-apocalyptic world. There's some kind of like earth-shattering event. Looked like some kind of war that we caused, and they're going about like learning about human culture and what they did. And there's like really funny, well-written scenes where like they're looking at a burger. And like, oh, they used to like ingest these for energy. And they're like, how would they do that? And I was like, oh, they would tear off chunks of it and like wear it down with nubs in their mouth into mash, swallow it into an eternal vat of acid.
Bony nubs that they make a paste out of it and they swallow it into their internal vat of acid.
And then the other robot's like, oh yeah, it makes perfect fucking sense. Like,
why do we have an internal vat of acid? Why don't they use an external vat of acid?
That makes more sense. And the other robot's like, yeah, asking creatures that have internal vats of acid to make sense. It's kind of a stretch, don't you think? Like, very well written. That was really
the dialogue. It was well written and it was smart and it was. They went about that the right way.
I wanted that to be a show also. Yeah, I could have done more of that. Okay. Next one's called The Witness. That's the one where it's in futuristic kind of Japan, and this woman's getting dressed and sees through the window a man murdering somebody. And then he's pursuing her throughout the episode. Kind of had a Hitchcock Twilight Zone feel to it.
Yes.
That was one of the best CGI looking ones, animation style.
Yes.
It almost reminded me into the Spider-Verse as as they're getting chased through the series, through the streets. Very visual, very poppy. Had a bit of a twist, nothing super crazy. I kind of saw it coming a little bit. But it was fun. It was a good episode.
I didn't really see exactly. I saw something coming.
Yeah, I'll tell you off camera what I thought it was,
right.
And it wasn't quite that, but it was close. Good episode though. Next one is Suits. So this is one where there's a farm planet, and you don't know it's a farm planet. It's just a farm, and there's like a breach, and these alien things start coming through, and the farmer literally goes into his garage, gets into this big mech suit. Gets his farmer neighbors go, and they just start spraying and like defending their area from these monsters coming down. And it was a 17-minute episode. After I watched it, I texted this guy, and I was like, hey, I just finished the episode Suits. In 17 minutes, I gave more of a fuck about the characters in that episode than anybody in Pacific Rim 2.
Yeah, it was, you know, you're sitting there watching it, and you're like, what the heck's going on? Oh, okay. They're just these aliens coming through this breach and killing all their cows, and then it's like, as it goes on, you start like caring about these farmers and are they going to be okay?
And little by little, you start piecing together like the story of it.
Yeah.
And like then, like by the end of it, you're like, oh fuck, that was good. Like that was one that was a slow burn. It started because the previous episode, The Witness, was really fast paced to start. This one started slow.
Right.
But by the end, as it was going, you're just like, oh damn, this was really good.
Yeah.
Next one is called Sucker of Souls. So this is a really hard animation, like old school animation. This is about archaeologists and mercenaries digging into Dracula's tomb and uncovering him. Mm-hmm. And he comes out wanting to murder people. It was good. It was straightforward.
It was simple. Yeah, it was simple. Cool enough, but it was probably one of the ones that least interesting.
But not that it wasn't good, but like nothing big character wise, nothing huge, whatever. It ends not. It's pretty fucked up.
I mean, there was not a lot of thinking involved.
But yeah,
there was just a lot of blood and fighting.
Very straightforward, but it breaks up some of the ones that aren't.
Right.
So that's Sucker of Souls. When the yogurt took over.
That one,
dumb.
it was intriguing to watch it happen, but it was. You're right. Just kind of dumb.
So basically, what happens is a yogurt gains sentience. It is smarter than anybody on the planet and solves all of our economical problems until it eventually figures out long-term space travel and abandons us.
Yes, the answer to everything is yogurt. So
literally. Okay, next one is probably my favorite episode. Beyond the Aquila?
The Aquila Rift. Aquila Rift. So we're gonna say whether we're saying it right.
This is my favorite episode. It's futuristic. It's a captain of a spaceship. They're going into cryostasis in order to basically jump through a wormhole or whatever to like travel far. He wakes up. They're way off course. A person that he knows wakes them up and lets them know that they're really way off course. He finds out through a series of events that they are much further off course than he thought they were, and everything's not what it seems. And I feel like you really can't say any more without completely ruining this episode.
Right. I'm not. I think that you can say that it was one of the ones that made me probably you had to think a lot more through it. It was a lot of thinking, and it was probably had the most creep factor.
It did, and it's one that we both said, like, we were kind of, when we were watching it, we watched it separately, but I was watching it, I was like on my phone, and I was like, oh shit, I missed something, I gotta rewind it. Like 4 times I had to rewind, because like more was going on than I thought. I had to just put my phone down and just focus on the episode. A lot was going on, it was creepy.
Yeah.
You get the sense something's off right away, but you can't quite,
Just don't know
you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But that twist, the end shot, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, holy fuck. And they do such a good musical throwback with the song that's playing at the end versus the song that plays the first time you hear it. That is just straight up disturbing. And again, it's a CGI style animation, gorgeous.
Right.
There are some shots that, like, for a split second, you're like, fuck, is that real? And they do really cool stuff from even just modeling people to not look perfect, not look like Greek gods. Like, at one point, a chick gets naked, and her boobs are like sagging the way a normal human being would if you're laying on your side.
Right.
You know, and just little things like that were really good. So the next one then is Good Hunting. That one is a like anime style. Takes place in like old Japan. That one was not one of my favorites. It's about a dude who's like old school upbringing to hunt these beings that can shapeshift into like some kind of animal fox thing. He ends up befriending one, and then as the world evolves around him into modern, it goes into the industrial era pretty much. She loses her powers because magic's leaving from the world, which is a concept that's pretty cool.
Right.
She gets brutalized by a rich dude who basically turns her into an android, and her buddy. Well, I'm giving away a lot of the episode. Never mind.
So I mean,
it's good.
For me, it just kind of had an interesting way of how it morphed from the way it began to the way it ended. But
because it also went from like feudal Japan to like industrial era to like futuristic almost, but in a believable passage of time. Like it was like a different evolution of technology.
Right.
So I thought it was neat. It wasn't anything super cool. The Dump, probably my least favorite episode. In fact, definitely my least favorite episode.
It was just meant to be silly.
Dumb.
And it was
nothing.
But
the problem is every episode before this has been really good.
Right.
So like that one seems not that good. It's okay. Shapeshifters. Probably my second favorite episode.
Shapeshifters.
The werewolves.
Shapeshifters for me was the main one that I wish that I could see as a whole
Me too.
show.
I wanted that to be a
multi-series.
Yeah.
I mean, multi-season show.
Yeah.
I think they could do a whole lot with that.
So this takes place. It's basically the Iraq War, right? And it's following two soldiers.
Afghanistan.
Whatever. It's following two soldiers.
2 separate places.
Okay. It's following 2 soldiers and they're
Marines.
Okay, jeez. Do you want to give the synopsis?
And soldiers are fuller. No. You're doing good.
Okay. And they're werewolves, right? This is just an accepted, like another species of humanity, basically, which they're suffering all the prejudice and people talking shit, calling them dog boys and all that kind of stuff.
Right. But they're second-class citizens.
Essentially, but they're enhanced, like physically, their speed, all that kind of stuff. And then when there's scenes where they transform and actually fight. But the thing that this did really well is the characters.
Yeah.
The main character and his friend, and watching the oppression, it really felt kind of like X-Men when it was really good. Like the oppression that they're feeling. You know, even though they're risking their lives for the other humans.
Right.
Just don't give up. Yeah, I concur. I love Aurelia Rift, but I feel like the big shock is over. Shapeshifters, if I had to pick one to be a series, would probably be that one. Helping Hand is the next one. It's a story of an astronaut who gets in a really bad position orbiting outside a space station completely on her own. This is like that Sandra Bullock, George Clooney movie Gravity if it were good. Anything you want to say about this one?
No, I think it was interesting. It's interesting to watch and to see what's happening, but I mean, there's no big shock.
But you realize what she has to do to survive, and when you realize it, you have kind of a cringe moment where it's, oh fuck, like could I do that? But but it's not. It was nothing.
That's the interesting part. Too.
Yeah. Fish Night was probably my second least favorite episode.
Fish Night.
That's the one about the traveling salesman that got broke down in the middle of the desert. And the older one talks about how this whole place used to be all underwater and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, randomly, they start seeing all the spirits of all the sea animals and fish that used to live there. Visually, it was pretty, but it was kind of, it ended dumb too. That was pretty dumb. Lucky 13. was kind of cool. This is a futuristic episode about a pilot who's piloting a ship that drops troops, like soldiers, in and out of battle. Think of Pelican, like in Halo. And how the ship number 13, it's gone out on 2 missions, and both times everybody's fucking died. So this brand new rookie pilot is inheriting a unlucky ship. And it's a story of her and how she turns that into a super lucky ship.
The most lucky.
Yeah.
But
that was cool, but it was kind of like Sucker of Souls, where it was just really straightforward.
Right.
There was no real big twist, no big turn. It was entertaining enough, but nothing crazy. Good animation, though. It looked really pretty. Zima Blue was another kind of weird one.
That one...
I didn't even describe that one.
To me, that one was kind of like... I was thinking it was like some type of... there's nothing I can compare it to, but now I can't even remember what it was. It's really just one of these things where you watch this whole progression all the way through, kind of like it's like you're on some kind of weird trip, and it's like... And at the end, you're like, oh, that was weird. I don't even know how we got here.
Yeah,
I don't even know if this is like really how it happened. But this is the story they're telling me.
That's one. So it's futuristic. It's about a painter, like the most famous painter of all time, and how he paints these gigantic, epic murals and these masterpieces, and how it's a story of his final project. That's one that if I watched that while smoking pot, I would get to the end of it, and then the next day, it'd be like, there's no way that happened that way. Like, it's something, I was so high, the way that was really weird, and then I would watch it sober and be like, oh, okay, that was just a really weird fucking episode then. You know what I mean? Like, it's, whoever wrote that was on the weed. Blind Spot. The fuck was Blind Spot? What was that one about? That was...
I don't know, your memory's better than me, you're younger.
What was Blind Spot? That was... Damn it. Must not have been that good. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Ice Age. Talk about Ice Age real quick. What was Ice Age?
What was Ice Age about? You're the one who's sparking my memory.
Okay, so Ice Age, it's almost completely live action. It actually stars the dude who plays Eric in that 70s show, Topher Grayson, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. They're moving into a house, open up a really old refrigerator freezer, and find a little society just surviving inside their freezer. Again, that's a classic Twilight Zone episode. Lots of these kind of have Twilight Zone vibes to them. And they watch the civilization as it progresses incredibly quick from prehistory all the way to the inevitable death of mankind. Really funny. The thing that made that episode was their dialogue. How they never just like, oh my god, what is this? Let's call everyone. They're just like,
you look really interested.
Like,
oh yeah, what are they up to now?
Oh, look, looks like they're in the industrial age, and oh, the little guys are nuking each other. Like, you know, it's like their dialogue.
Oh, bright light, they're nuking each other. So
yeah, that was actually it was funny. It was like nothing super crazy. Alternate histories. So this is one where it takes place, you're basically watching a computer program, like a tutorial on how to use a program, where it's a simulation of you can go in and alter a historical event and it'll play out how everything would have been changed. So for instance, it starts off solid, like if Adolf Hitler died before anything happened, like walking out of the art school that he went to.
Right.
And so the funny thing is it gives you 5 scenarios, or 6 scenarios. And the first one seems legit, like how he could have died accidentally and how everything would have been different. And then as they progressed, they got crazier, and I was like, oh, now we're just being fucking stupid. Now we're just talking nonsense.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Take it for what it is.
So
just
dumb.
Completely silly. It's entertaining.
Which is weird,
silliness,
because I thought it was going to be serious for a minute. I was like, oh my god, this could be like really intriguing.
I think you could tell by the animation that it's going to be completely goofy.
Well, when he got fucked to death
he's walking out.
When he got fucked to death by the alien females, then I was like, okay, we're just being dumb now.
Alright.
The last episode is The Secret War. That's the one in Soviet Russia with the alien with the demons.
Yeah, I mean, that had an interesting story, had really good computer graphics, and
talk about that episode.
That was a little more where, it's basically another thing where they're in Russia. There's like, it's almost like they've been sent on this mission. I can't remember if it seemed like they knew before what they were going to be up against, but sure enough they do. And they all decide it's going to basically be, at some point they decide it's going to be like a suicide mission.
Well, the story is basically, I believe it's Cold War era, and in order to win the war, the Russian higher-ups make a sacrifice to demons, essentially.
Yeah.
And monsters come out of the earth that they can't control, they're taking over the world. So yeah, they're sending in ground troops to take them out, and they know it's a suicide mission, they know they're gonna die. So at the end, there's like some hero shots and all that kind of stuff. But again, that's very straightforward. There wasn't any heroes. Blind Spot wasn't very good, that's what I can remember. That's the one where it's like the robot dudes doing the heist on the freeway. Remember? It's just a straightforward episode. They were just robbing some shit. It was entertaining, nothing super crazy.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of action, crazy stuff, and at the end, like, oh, okay, this is a different. So it's not what you expected, and everything's.
Definitely, like, the first half of them are a lot collectively better than the back half. The back half kind of tapered off for me. But, as you can see, wildly different. Nothing is the same. Nothing ties in together. Totally. Each one unique, and, like, some of you guys will probably like episodes that we didn't so much, or not like episodes that we did, but definitely, depending on your taste, there's something here for you. All of them are worth watching, though.
Worth watching. Yeah. There's some real hidden gems in there.
Yeah, some of them are worth watching a lot. So, yeah, so definitely go check it out. Love, Death, Robots, and once Steve Crawler watches it, we'll dive into spoilers and talk about things that we really like.
Sounds good!
Sounds good. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the World's Greatest News and Reviews. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Peace!